right? It's going to be a full script that's going to connect together, right? These parts have that intermediary sort of component. So what this means is I'm giving you options to create a surface here, and whichever one you use, you just plug in here, and then that surface is being carried to wherever it has to go, right? So this is exercise 1. Do I have like 10 minutes to like go over it? Okay. So I'm going to go over the first exercise with you guys. So this first exercise, should have explained the quick menu. So the quick menu, whenever you have anything selected, you hit spacebar, right? I explained this last time, but very quickly, this is how you disable a preview of whatever geometry is being generated by a component, activate a preview, right? Enable it, so to actually have it run, compute, whatever it has to do, or disable it, right? So in this case, only exercise 1 is enabled. So you can't, even if some of these are in preview mode, like if I want to preview this surface, it's not going to change because it's deactivated. So I need to activate the next exercise to keep going, right? Now I can see these are giving me yellow mistakes or yellow error messages, which always means there isn't enough data to continue, right? You're missing an input or something's missing that we can't like keep going. So that's what that is. And when you hover over it, again, it'll give you more information. Here we can see input base failed to collect data, and input parameter direction failed to collect data. So base and direction aren't collecting anything. So that's why you're getting that error there. So the first exercise, right? You can see like this is familiar. You have construct points, right? And besides having the output shown to you in panels, I added some instructions to clarify, right? You have your sliders, your construct point, just like we had before. The merge, right, which I already introduced, that's what it does. And then we have an interpolated curve, right? So again, investigate this, right? Try to understand as much as you can from what it gives you so that you can better understand what I'm doing here, plugging in these vectors and forces to control that curve, right? And this is just a display, right? From the display tab, you can always see like different things that aren't necessarily geometry or manifested. So forces are never displayed unless I do a vector display. And I designate an origin for that force and a direction for that force. So here we're just seeing the 2 endpoints, right? The 2 endpoints coming from that construct points being merged into one list, collected here, displayed it as anchors for those forces. And then those forces are just y and x directions. So we're just seeing the y and x arrows relative to those endpoints, right? And then the curve is being bent, right? This curve that's happening right here is dependent on the tangents that I set, right? So I set x and y to pull on it evenly. So it's just creating a smooth curve from one direction to the next, right? That's really all it's doing. But investigate this, right? Play around with the number sliders. Try, what happens if I replace an x with a z-axis, unit z, right? Or what happens if you try to create your own vector from 2 points, vector from xyz components, right? You can replace whatever I put in here with whatever you want to mess with, right? So besides completing what this assignment is asking you to do, you can use this bit of code for whatever you do in the future. If you look into it and see how it works and you see how yours can fit in there. So the assignment here is add a series component to create a curve that is repeating along an axis. Sorry. You'll need to graft data to inform a coordinate, right? So something in here is going to have to end up being grafted, and we're going to have to use a series, right? So I'm going to try and do this with you. So let's just bring in the series right here, right? Can I get some ideas of where this is supposed to go? If we want to create a curve that's repeating along an axis, either y or x, or, that's what we're going to work with now, or z. Maybe it repeats vertically, right? But how would we go about that? How would we go about adding some input somewhere so that we generate multiple curves rather than just one? I know somebody knows. Before the merge? Okay. But if I put this in here, right, the merge is collecting points and it's feeding into points, and the series is going to create numbers, right? So that wouldn't really work if I plug it in straight into merge. So it has to alter the points that are going into merge, right? Has to go somewhere here. What do I want to do? What do I want to do first with the series, so that when I do plug in the data from the series, I know something is happening?
Just to go into one of the axes.
Stick it to one of the axes, right? Okay, so we can do that. So do I want to go to the top one or the bottom one? The top one? Which one? Y? Okay. All right, so now we're getting something, right? We're seeing that here, for example, now we have data 1 collecting multiple points. Sorry, data 1, yeah, well, list 0, right? Whether it be data 1 or data 2 is collecting 1 point. And then we're collecting 10 points from a series, right? So what do we need to correct right now because of that? For the series. Right? But it's already defaulted to 10, right? Like one list already has 10 items. So if one list has 10 items, what needs to happen? Right. The other list also needs to have 10 items, right? If we want 10 curves, we need 10 start points and 10 end points, right? So we can either create a new series or use the same series for another coordinate on the other point. So what do you think? Another series or repeat the data? Use the same one? You want to connect it to a specific one? Z, I heard Z. All right. So now we're getting this value that the series is creating, right, along a y-axis on this first list of points, and on the z-axis on the second list of points, right? So now we have 10 start points and 10 end points. But what's happening? The curve is being created through all the points, and then when it's done with one list, it's going to the next, and then creating that line through a whole bunch of other points. So this is tricky. This is where the hint on the exercise helps you out. You'll need to graft something. So does anybody know what needs to happen now for this point to go to this one to go to this one, the third to the third, fourth to the fourth, and so on, rather than this happening? Okay, so graph the results of the first construct point and also the second one. All right, so that did it, right? Why is that? Can anybody tell me? All right, when you're not grafted, sorry, what's happening is this merge is creating one list, right? It wasn't earlier because we had one item coming from one place and 10 from another. So it said these things don't match. I'm going to keep them separate as one thing by itself and 10 as another. When we matched the amount of data, 10 and 10, it said, oh, these are supposed to match together, right? Or it makes more sense that they're formatted in the same way. And then it's creating a continuous line through all of them, right? Because it's merging them into one single list because they match. A list of 20 points that creates a curve. When we graphed, right, these 10, instead of these 10 being sent as part of one list, they're now all their separate lists. So now the first list that only has 1 point is matching to the first list that also only has 1 point. So when the merge understands this, it says, okay, merge 0 with 0, merge 1 with 1. So then we're getting points paired up, right? Like 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, and that's how we get 10 curves. So that's the answer. You just put in a series right back here. Well, this is one answer, right? Which works because the data is being grafted on both ends and they're being matched up here. And there's 10 items matched with 10 items. They're grafted and they're grafted. They're in the same format. It all works beautifully. But the way I would have done this would have just grafted the data and it would have created the same result. Why? Because that format is now carrying from the data through the geometry and also into the merge. Right? You can also disconnect these number sliders and start putting them into your series and start creating different results and plug them into various places. And so now this number slider, like we said before, since the series is being connected to many places, it's going to alter, right, in many directions. And then you can also still modify these other ones. We're probably going to step 2, right? So if I increase the step, I increase the spacing. So this is a really simple but complicated way of explaining how do you go from points to curves and how you manipulate all that data in between, right? So I hope this is clear to you. If it's not, you're going to have to watch a couple of good videos before you start tackling this just to really understand what it is you're looking at. But if you get what I've explained of the interface today and you're just hovering around and at least you're clicking, you're doing something, right? You're trying to mess with it, you're trying to understand it, make mistakes, and you'll learn from there. The end result that I intended for, but it may not be what you arrive at, is something. Okay. So the meshing tools, right, are working with these sort of parameters for smoothing the mesh. To make it look like this, I changed my display options in Grasshopper, but that's not important right now for you guys to get through this. And then I added the attractor, right? Remember the line with the point? And as the point moves, the openings or the size of the circles are moving, right, in that previous script. So here, the size of the openings, right, are moving according to the point.